Hey everyone, welcome to Reviews with Ryan. It is the end of 2022, and I'm going to go ahead and share my top 20 films of 2022. But before I dive into my 20 films that I loved for this year, I saw a total of 165 films this year, and 70 films I gave a score of 3 or higher. I'm going to go ahead and tell you some honorable mentions, and then we'll get into the top 20. Lost City, Pray for the Devil, The Menu, Terrifier 2, Fall, Turning Red, and Nope. Now without further ado, let's get into the top 20 films of 2022. A small disclaimer, 19 of these films I have actual video reviews and deeper analysis on the channel. I'll create a playlist so you guys can check out 19 out of the 20 film reviews. Number 20 on my list is You Won't Be Alone, and this film is the only film on here that I did not actually do a video review. So this film, it stars Noomi Rapace, and it's playing on Peacock currently. Basically, it's about a young girl that gets kidnapped and she gets transformed into a witch, and she has all these different powers. It's in Macedonian language. It was a pretty solid film. Definitely check it out. Cool horror movie. Has a little bit of graphic kind of nature to it, so if you're not into that, I would skip it. Number 19, we have Pearl. Mia Goth, she puts on a really good performance here. I really enjoyed this film a lot better than X. I found that it was a lot more natural kind of film, and I say that because I really love the aesthetic of this film. I love the backstory with Pearl. Mia Goth, she puts on a great performance, and I love that it reminded me of Wizard of Oz. At number 18, we have Miss Harris Goes to Paris. This one was really a surprise. I saw this in the theater by myself. I never watched a trailer for this film, and it was a really cute movie. I love seeing Miss Harris. She is really kind of a feisty kind of character, and it's just one of those films that it isn't something that I really thought that I would really like, and it really isn't really made for me, but I enjoyed the ride and I enjoyed her character. At number 17, we have Ambulance. You have Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. I thought they did a really good job as a pair. It's one of those high-octane Michael Bay films, lots of crazy kind of camera work. It's a really long movie, and a lot of people's criticisms is that it went too long, but I really enjoyed the ride. I love the high-octane action. I love that it's 2 hours. It's a really fun time, and I never put down my popcorn actually watching this film. At number 16, we have The Outfit, starring Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch, and Dylan O'Brien. And this film, it takes place in one central location. You have this tailor, Mark Rylance. He designs all these different suits for mobsters, and he has to survive one fateful night. I love the way that they actually portrayed this film. I love the whole costumes in this film, and I love that this happens all on one night in a dark kind of corner in not the greatest of neighborhoods. Mark Rylance did an awesome job in this film, and I really enjoyed the performances in this film, and I love the ending as well. At number 15, we have Barbarian. You have Justin Long and Bill Skarsgård. This is the film where people don't want to go to Airbnbs after watching this film. I love Justin Long's character in this. He's really obnoxious, and he's one of those characters that you really just can't root for, but he does such a good job playing the character. I love the whole fact that this house is in a dilapidated kind of neighborhood, and I love that we get this secret kind of cellar basement kind of area, and it's really cool, the darkness that is in there, and you get some really disgusting kind of scenes in here, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. At number 14, we have Scream 5. You have Melissa Barrera, Jack Quaid, Jenna Ortega, David Arquette, Courtney Cox. All the group is back with having some new characters as well, and you're just trying to solve the mystery of Ghostface like we have had seen in other 4 installments. It was a really fun time. I had a really good time trying to guess who the person actually was that was behind the mask of Ghostface. At number 13, we have The Bad Guys. I really thought this was one of the more stronger kid movies. Sam Rockwell, Craig Robinson. I love the whole cast of critters here. You have all these guys that are really bad animals, and they're in this world, and they're trying to become good. It's really interesting, the twist in this movie. I love the whole comedy in this. I love that each animal, they have different kind of powers and different kind of ways of how they break into different things, and just the way that they really really developed these characters and did a really good job of making the film really funny and really appealing to kids. At number 12, we have a really controversial A24 film called Men. Jessie Buckley, she puts on the performance of a lifetime in this film. It has arguably the best cinematography out of any film that I've watched this year. And it's one of those films that it really gets stuck in your head. The final scene really has some imagery that really is buried in your head, and you're thinking that what the fuck kind of moment as the film actually ends. I enjoyed every second of it, and I enjoyed even more hearing the audience's reactions of some of the scenes actually going down. And I enjoy people that actually hate this movie because it's really interesting to see the reasons as to why people actually don't like this movie. At number 11, we have The Cursed. Now, this film, it was back in February, so I haven't watched it since then. I do have the physical media release, and I definitely want to check it out again. But I can tell you, I'm not really big usually on werewolf kind of movies, and I found that this was a genuine, really good werewolf movie. I love, again, the aesthetic. I love the black and gray tones. It's very kind of dark and dreary. I love the setting. I love the time period piece that this film actually dives into. And it's one of those films that didn't get a lot of love, but I definitely think that more people should check it out. And then we get into the top 10, and this is another A24 film that really got overlooked. And I really wish that people would check this film out a little bit more. I think also it didn't have the best release strategy, but that is Marcel the Shell. This movie, it's really cute. It's filmed in documentary style. Marcel is really cute. He's really relatable to kids. And I love the special packaging that I got from A24 when I ordered this actual physical media disc. And I just love the way that they actually filmed this film. And I love that Marcel, he's very relatable. He loses his family, and it's really easy for kids to really latch on to Marcel and really feel for him, because he, in this movie, he is becoming famous, but he doesn't want to be famous, and he just wants to live his life and find his family. Number 9 is Sonic 2. Now, the first Sonic, I would say, arguably, was a really good movie, but I really think that this second film is even better than the first film. I love in this film that we have Knuckles. I think that Jim Carrey, again, puts on a really good performance. And I think that Sonic here, he has Tails as a sidekick. I don't think that really they wasted too much time. Now, the humans, they have a side plot that a lot of people didn't really care for, but honestly, I didn't mind it because they are a part of this journey and they were in the first film. So I was okay with that extra scene with the wedding and such. But overall, I really enjoyed this film, and I hope that Jim Carrey will reconsider and join the third film. Up at number 8, we have Vengeance. Now, this movie, it really took me by surprise, and this is kind of an example of when you watch a trailer, don't judge the film by its trailer, because I watched the trailer for this film and I was like, this movie looks awful. It doesn't look like it's for me at all. And when I went to go watch this film, again, I was by myself. There was nobody in the theater, not really having a lot of promotion, not really a lot of people knew about this film. So it was written by BJ Novak, and he is a part of The Office, so that's how I knew who he was. You have Ashton Kutcher in this, and I found this film to be really funny. So you have this guy who is investigating a murder, and it's with somebody he slept with that he really doesn't particularly remember. He's in Texas. It has a lot of humor with Texas. I found that it was really good as far as the written portion of jokes, and I had a really good time with the mystery aspect. I thought Ashton Kutcher did a really good job, and it had a lot of funny moments. Up at number 7, we have Smile. Smile is one of my top favorite horror films of the year. We got a lot of good horror this year, and Smile, I've watched this film 3 times now, once on Paramount, once in the theater, and once on physical media, and I can tell you it gets better every time I watch this film. I love that it really tackles mental health. It tackles this curse, and I love that the whole setting, the hospital setting, I learned on the 4K disc. These special features, it tells you that they actually built this hospital out of an actual set because they couldn't film in a hospital during COVID. So I really enjoyed the fact that this film, it really put a lot of heart into the film, and it really tackled a subject that's really hard to tackle. And I really love that this film, it didn't overdo jump scares, but the score in this film is absolutely phenomenal, and I thought the performances were really good as well. Up at number 6 was much higher on my list, but I had some other films in front of it, but I had never seen the original film, and that is Top Gun Maverick. Now, Tom Cruise does a really good job in this film. I love the cast in this film. I also love that before I actually really watched this movie, what really sold me to watch this film, not only reviews on YouTube, but also the fact that these people that flew into these planes, they actually had all this extensive training and they learned how to be in the cockpit and actually fly the planes themselves. Now, how cool is that? What other film can you say actually does that? And I think this is a film that really is going to hold up over time. Now, I've never seen the original, but I've heard the original is not that great. But eventually, I may check out the original. But for now, this one is a really good film. And you guys, if you missed this film, you've got to check it out. And now we're getting into the top 5. We have number 5 with Pinocchio, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio from Netflix. Now, this movie, it really caught me by surprise. Now, I like Guillermo del Toro, but I thought he did a really good job with the stop animation. I love the score. The whole music was really good. I love the whole kind of backstory with Geppetto. Pinocchio, I love how he is very wooden, but wooden in the fact like how he should be. And I love that Geppetto, he has this backstory with a loss of his son. I really like that this film has a lot of dark aspects. It's not really for younger children, but I enjoyed it. At number 4, we have The Batman. Now, a lot of people doubted Robert Pattinson going into this film and thought that he couldn't be Batman. Well, you all were wrong, and we're getting a second Batman, and I cannot wait to see what we have in store with Batman number 2, because this film, even though it's really long, I love that it has that dark aesthetic. I love that Batman here, he is kind of finding how he really is Batman. And I love that we have the Penguin here. The Penguin does a really good job on this role, and I'm really interested to see what they do with number 2. At number 3, we have Babylon. Now, this is a movie that I just saw, and it really is over the top. It's bombastic. It has really loud music. It stars Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Diego Calva, and they all do a really good job of coming from the bottom to the top. It shows them rising and falling, and it also shows from silent pictures to actual sound pictures, and it has a lot of comedy involved, and it's very sexually driven, and it really pokes fun at the industry of how, you know, the film industry can be very stressful. It can be very condemning to an actor or actress, and it can also be helpful as well. Number 2, we have a film that was my number 1 for a long time, and it was just recently overthrown, but we have The Northman. Now, this was made by Robert Eggers. He did a really good job on this film. I love the way how it's shot. I love that it does a really good job of really portraying just really good battle scenes. Now, it isn't all about just battle scenes. It's very artsy. It's very dark. Anya Taylor-Joy is perfection in it, and I absolutely loved it. You guys have got to check it out. And now what you all have been waiting for, what is my number 1 film of 2022? That is Avatar. Now, Avatar, we've been waiting for 13 years. I had a lot of hype going into this film, and I really, really enjoyed this film. I actually had almost 2 buckets of popcorn and almost 2 large sodas going to watch this film, and I never do that for a film, so I was absolutely hooked the entire time during this film. I love the visuals. I love the aquatic kind of atmosphere. It does have a point where it feels a little bit longer with that aquatic kind of atmosphere, but I loved every second of it. I love the villains and the fighting going on and just the conflict and the friction, and I love that we have this family actually meeting another tribe and trying to learn the way of the water. I enjoyed every second of this film, and it's magnificent. So now I'm done all 20 of my films for 2022. I want to know down in the comments, what are some of your favorite films of 2022? What films are you absolutely pissed that I even have on my top 20 list? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and Happy New Year.